Nothing we say is investment advice. Please pause on all 3 pages of this disclaimer and read it. Good morning, everybody. It is Cowboy here, aka Nick, and it is the 14th, 8:30 a.m. EST. Interesting market. Silver just on an absolute rampage. And by the way, PPI just hit. So let's take a look and see what's going on with that. Give me 1 second. Just had a little issue with the computer. All right, so let's take a look at the data here. Okay, USD JPY on the 30-minute. I'm going to go to the lower time frame. It looks like PPI may not have done much. Pretty big move down. The JPY actually was acting very interesting. I'm going to have to take a look at that. Some stuff happened with the Japanese yen last night, pretty late. But so far, not much going on with the PPI. Let me actually share the screen for the data, and we'll see if there's anything there. See if there's any there. All right, give me a moment here. Gotta fix that. Okay. Friday, Thursday, Wednesday PPI. Oh, well, you know, core PPI was really kind of a cool print. It's mixed data, it seems. We have a cool core PPI print. Month over month was regular PPI month over month was nominal. No, as expected. Retail sales was higher than normal, indicating a stronger economy, if you will. Core retail sales the same, but they're just both 1 tick higher. Well, core PPI was 1 tick lower, which is decreased inflation, or I should say no inflation month over month from core PPI. So some mild inflation month over month are expected, if you will. So everything's kind of as expected. And really what I expected to see in this case was a little more money going back into the market here. I think silver really has taken the spotlight, though. That's what it seems like to me. So you're gonna fix some screens up here. Give me 1 moment as I look up high. So let me know in the comments. Morning, Miko. Thanks for coming in. Let me know what you guys want to see in the comments. I'm going to probably just start running through some charts. I know a lot of people want to see like the NASDAQ, which, my data is running behind on the NASDAQ right now. So I'll have to wait a few minutes for that data to kick in. Give me just a moment here. So I got to fix something technically. Let me go ahead and move the screen back over to the charts and we'll take a look. I think we'll start with Bitcoin. I know a lot of people, oops, wrong chart. Okay, let me share Bitcoin here. I know a lot of people are watching it pretty close. There's been a little action with Bitcoin, but really it's not doing a whole lot. It's doing what I told Algo Factory I thought it might. Oh, that's not true. Actually, yeah, Bitcoin did spike up. So, all right, yeah, that's a nice move on Bitcoin. I know some of the guys in the room last night were calling it out. Cool Cat was calling it out. I pretty much have been talking about this mild sort of bullishness that's been on a very high time frame. So basically, Bitcoin has had a fair amount of bullishness coming from the weekly chart, right? It's just it had been going down for so long that it was going to, at some point, either head up or stabilize, one of the two. And it's kind of done both. It's headed up in a small way, stabilized in a larger way. And so if you zoom out a little bit on this chart, this is a 3-hour chart. You'll notice that Bitcoin still, it's fighting to get out of this range. I mean, it has technically popped out of this range. Well, better if we look at it the daily. Germany 30, yeah, we'll take a look at basically the DAX. We got Effectual Intellectual. Good morning to you as well. Thank you for coming on and watching and talking with us. Let us know if you want to see any charts. We'll take a look at Germany 30 in a minute here. I'm going to head to the daily on Bitcoin just so we could get a better, kind of a better look at what's going on with that. I'm going to mute myself for just a moment. Okay, sorry, I had to clear the throat there. So looking at the daily chart on Bitcoin, you're going to see this kind of high time frame range that was going on, and it really has popped out of that range. The top of that range was 94,700 or so, and it's popped out, and so far it's staying above. Now, to take a look at the indicator stack, the basically multi time frame analysis here, it's still pretty bullish. We might see price either move up or stay in its current position. On the monthly, though, the monthly moves extremely slowly, and it's worth having a look, but I don't think too hard about the monthly until kind of large events happen. But we are at a point where Bitcoin could, and I mean, could with a small c, head up to try to challenge some of the highs. And as I think Cool Cat said it, or maybe I think it was Coob in our private chat. His comment was that, and I agree with him. If Bitcoin can continue this bullish energy, 100,000 is going to be near where it goes. I'd refine that to about 98,900. So like right, oops, lost my VPN. Okay. I hope. Did I lose contact anybody? Let me know if I lost a connection there for a second. My VPN went out. What I was saying, and hopefully I don't know if it came through or not, I'll just repeat it. Coob in our chat was saying that he thinks 100,000 next, and I agree with him. I think it's quite possible we see almost 100,000. Thanks, Effectual. Appreciate that. Like 98,900 is a good place for price to go, and there's lots of liquidity just above that in the 100,000 area. So quite possibly we see that, and this is where the small c and the could comes from, is a move above 100,000. It might want to go up and touch liquidity as low as 102,700 and as high as 107,100. These are two areas where price had kind of come down to, created some liquidity in the past. So anywhere in this kind of low to mid 100,000 range is a decent target right now for this long move down to retrace. But right now, again, it does look like 126,000 was the cycle high. And the farther we go out, the more risky it is to try to bet on a new all-time high. Let's look at the Germany 30 as per request from Miko. All right, so Germany 30 at 25,300. That's on the daily chart, folks. It's a pretty good look. A lot of your indices are doing pretty well right now. There's just a lot of money. Like the rates are getting cheaper, money flowing into markets, and we're looking at what actually I think might end up being a pump before things get wild in the market later this year, having to do with the U.S. midterms. So like most indices, Germany 30 is plowing upwards, just not as strong as the U.S. indices. And Germany 30 is at a point where we are starting to see a little bit of a pullback. Red day yesterday after 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 green days in a row. This was a 2-bar reversal. As our friend Tom Luongo points out, that's usually I think he said a 68% chance of continuation. So the longer this takes to reverse upwards, the less likely it's going to go very far or reverse at all. So we would have to see a green day tomorrow to have better than a 50-50 that it continues up, like just from strict candle theory. To look at the indicator stack, let's see here. This is what my algos are kind of built on, is this indicator stack. Most algos are built as such. Definitely a strong look on the very high time frame. You can see here on the monthly, and this is we're going back to we're going back 10 years on this chart. On the monthly, you can see that this thing really is simply just money's just getting crammed into it. It tried to pull back and couldn't, right? So here, this whole 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, sort of 6, 7 month place where prices try to pull back, it just simply broke up. So that, any pullbacks are being eaten up, going all the way back to 2022, right? So money's just getting crammed into this, as it is all indices. And what we're seeing here on the weekly is just a continuation of that. It is at a point where, let's see here. I'm just looking at the way it behaved before. What we're probably going to see here is kind of like we saw back in September 24, maybe. Excuse me. Because I think what we can expect is money getting crammed into the market. Thanks, Cool Cat. I appreciate that. Friendly senior comment in the prep chat. I think money's just going to get crammed into markets across the world. And I think what it is money is fleeing because currencies are showing their weakness in the precious metals market. So you got silver at all-time highs this morning, and it just continues to make all-time highs. And every pullback is getting, eaten up. And I think the indices are another place where money is going to hide as the currencies are continuing to get weaker through money printing. And so I think what we'll see in the next weeks, like, the next few months, will be just like moves, unless there's a huge event that changes this, unless we get a surprise or who knows what, it could be a war, it could be anything. But something like this, through the rest of the year, kind of just grinding up into the side, maybe some sideways movement here and there. That's what it should look like, but that's a lot can change. That's very high time frame. Now, Germany 30 in the low time frame, what I think is going to happen is I think we're going to see a minor pullback that gets eaten up. Now, as to how deep that could go, it would make a lot of sense for it to want to come back down to about 20. What does that say? 24,671. So you have, just basically the high of this consolidation, which really most of these peaked out on an average of about 24,500 or so, but it might only pull back to 24.8 instead of going all the way down to 24.5. But basically your liquidity is all in this area. If it's gonna pull back deeper, then I'd look to 24,500. Like I just said, that's where a lot of these tops are. Now, it may not even go that far, but what you're seeing is a breakout. And you're seeing it a breakout from a massive consolidation. And this had to do with the panic here back in March, of 2025. It's kind of hard to call this out. If I were going to go high time frame fib, we are dealing with market panic here. But if we don't, whatever the pullback may be, right, I would say the safest way to do it would be based on this impulse. So let me zoom in. We'll beat the DAX to death, or the DAX to death here, and then we'll move on. Tighter pullback would be 25,100. 618 pullback, 24.8, which is also the top of this prior consolidation. So I would have eyes on 24.8. If it only pulls back to 25.1, it's going to be a very strong move, continuation up. And then deeper pullback, 24.5, which is almost like a 1-to-1. That's your deeper pullback. I don't think it's going to make it there, though. I think you'll probably see. I think my money, just based on the way the market's behaving right now, it's on one of these two, either 25.1 or 24.9, kind of in those areas, 24.8 something. And then I think it'll probably continue up to something like, 25.8 or eventually 26.1, right? So that's the look. And then your higher, your sort of higher time frame targets, fib levels, are going to be like 25, like 26,000. Eventually I think it'll get up to about 26,000, right? But it's just going to take some time. So we beat that one to death, and we're pretty much done with the live lab. So thank you all for watching. We're going to head over to the private live lab, like I just said, and go to the description. There's a free algo in there. There's a video where I build an algo for you. You do have to optimize it before you use it, but I show you how traders build the algo, or at least how I build it. And I show you how traders connect the algo to their broker, right? They turn the algo into code, so it looks like what you see on the screen. It looks, you can make it look exactly like these little tabs here. You could use, it could look different. That's all up to you. But then you can connect it to the computer. It trades for you while you're not there. Maybe you're sleeping, maybe you're golfing. I don't know. But yeah, do that. Just go to that link in the description. We'll be happy to give that to you. And we will be back tomorrow, 8:30 a.m. EST sharp, to take a look at what markets are doing. There's a little bit of data coming out, as it always does, employment data coming out tomorrow. So thanks for watching, and we will catch you on the flip side.
Join us or die.
Just kidding, you're not going to die.